Welcome to the SmartKeys podcast. We are launching a deep dive today into, well, what I think is the most critical professional shift happening right now. It's this move away from the outdated metric of just counting hours worked
Yeah.
and focusing exclusively on tracking value and, measurable outcomes.
And this isn't just a trend. I'd argue it's really about survival for the modern professional.
Survival, how so?
Well, think about the sheer volume of information we manage. The constant notifications, the email flood, the back-to-back meetings. It's a productivity killer.
Our attention is just fractured every single day.
Exactly.
I think we've all had that feeling. You get to the end of a long day and you realize, wow, I was busy, but I accomplished nothing meaningful.
That's the friction. The friction of continuous context switching.
Right.
And that friction, it raises stress levels, it wastes time, and critically, it introduces mistakes because your brain is just constantly rebooting.
We saw that during the rise of remote work, didn't we?
We really did. It proved that time logged does not equal quality delivered. So, based on the analysis of Felix Römer's research, our mission today is to implement proven, research-backed steps to protect that deep concentration and boost your measurable productivity fast.
Okay, let's unpack this. Let's find the simple, actionable systems that cut that mental friction and finally drive some real results.
Sounds good.
The goal here is to stop being busy and start being, well, definitively effective.
And it absolutely starts with a foundational mindset shift.
Yeah.
You have to reframe your professional life around results,
Not around time.
not around time at all. Focusing on outcomes means every decision you make, where you spend your time, your money, your mental energy, it's directed toward delivering actual recognizable value.
So once we accept that, the greatest tool we have to protect that value is, I guess, learning to say no. It sounds like a productivity cliche, but it is incredibly difficult to do in the moment.
It requires discipline, but it's non-negotiable. The research suggests a really simple filtering practice.
Okay, what is it?
Before agreeing to anything, you ask why it matters.
Mhm.
What specific outcome does it drive? Saying no, or even offering a filtered alternative.
Like, I can't do that, but I can do this instead.
Exactly. I can't do that, but I can contribute X on Thursday. That becomes your shield. It prevents these low-priority demands from, cannibalizing the time you need for high-value focus.
That immediately addresses a really common trap, which is perfectionism.
Oh, absolutely.
We have listeners who spend 40 minutes wordsmithing an internal memo because they feel this need to deliver something, complete and flawless on the first try.
And it's such wasted energy. The advice is to just ditch perfectionism by setting clear, sometimes even aggressive internal deadlines.
And break it down.
Yes, instead of tackling a huge deliverable, break the work into small iterative steps. The goal is to finish task A, ship it, and then refine it based on feedback, rather than trying to achieve a perfect final product on the first pass.
I think the key takeaway from the source here is that this kind of intentional focus is sustained by systems, not by willpower.
100%.
You can all start the week motivated, but by Wednesday, we're right back in the chaos.
That's because willpower is a finite resource. It just is. Systems will beat willpower every single time.
So what kind of systems are we talking about?
Simple tools, checklists, templates for routine reports, and I think most importantly, a reliable weekly review process. These systems reduce decision fatigue because you aren't constantly reinventing processes. You're just following the paths you already laid out.
And that planning needs to start before the workday even really begins. So what are the key planning rituals that reduce that friction?
It's surprisingly simple. You start each morning by defining just 3 to 5 high-impact items.
Not a giant to-do list.
No, not a to-do list of 50 things, just the 3 things that will move the needle the most that day. This ensures your day begins with purpose, and it prevents that default behavior of, just opening your inbox and reacting.
And what about the other end of the day? The ritual that provides mental closure.
The daily shutdown routine. It's critical. Take 15 minutes at the end of your day, review what you accomplished, capture any outstanding ideas or open loops, and then, this is the cue part, plan the first task for tomorrow morning.
So you're ready to go.
It gives you mental closure for the day, and it eliminates the friction of starting cold the next morning. You know exactly where to apply force.
Okay, so if we've successfully defended our high-impact items, the next step is structuring the hours we actually spend on them. How do we move beyond just, trying to focus harder?
We implement structural techniques that leverage how the brain actually works. And one of the most powerful is what's called theme days.
Theme days. So instead of multitasking.
Right. Instead of multitasking across 5 disparate projects, you cluster similar tasks. So Monday might be admin and planning, Tuesday's your external meeting day, and Wednesday is dedicated purely to deep project work.
That makes so much intuitive sense. It just reduces the mental overhead of all that context switching.
It does.
If I know I only deal with meetings on one day, I don't have to constantly jump between, say, analytical work and social interaction.
Exactly. It creates what they call cognitive fluency. You prime your brain for a specific type of thinking for a sustained period. This is the complete opposite of that frantic energy most professionals experience.
You mean when they have to write a report, take a sales call, and then immediately calculate a budget, all within an hour?
Yes. That chaotic switching is what we want to eliminate.
Let's talk about the actual timing blocks. We've all heard of the Pomodoro technique, 25-minute sprints. What does the research from this source suggest is optimal for true, deep, focused output?
So for general tasks, those 25 to 30-minute sprints with short recovery breaks are excellent. Great for maintaining momentum.
But for the big stuff?
For the complex projects, the work that requires genuine concentration and problem solving, the source recommends scheduling solid 90-minute blocks.
90 minutes. Why 90 minutes specifically? Is that just an arbitrary number?
Not at all. It actually aligns with our natural ultradian rhythms. Ultradian rhythms. The body and mind cycle through these high-focus, high-energy periods that last about 90 minutes. Then they require a break to recharge.
So you're working with your biology.
Precisely. You're maximizing your natural peak concentration windows rather than trying to force 6 hours of focus straight through, which is biologically unsustainable.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting for efficiency pros. Applying the 80-20 rule to your task list. I suspect many people know they waste time, but they just don't know where.
And that's the power of this exercise. It does require you to track your minutes, honestly, for just 1 week.
Just 1 week?
That's it. You track not just the time you spent, but the results produced. And this data will almost certainly reveal that 20% of your activities are generating 80% of your results.
And once you find that 20%...
You double down on those tasks.
Yeah.
And you aggressively eliminate or delegate the rest. It's the fastest way to stop feeling busy and start feeling profitable.
But all the theme days and 90-minute blocks in the world, they all fail if we can't protect those focus windows from distraction. So we have to commit to single tasking. Multitasking doesn't make us efficient. It just lowers accuracy and increases delivery time.
We have to silence the noise, period. That means do not disturb is your new best friend. Limiting notifications to only what's truly essential. But since interruptions are inevitable...
A coworker stops by. Slack pings.
Right. We need a pre-planned defense for that.
And that's the brilliant simplicity of the if-then plan.
It's a mechanism for behavioral change. You write a rule ahead of time that automatically dictates your response. For example, if I get an urgent email, then I will finish the current 15-minute time block before opening it.
Or, if my phone rings, then I will look at the caller ID and only answer if it's a predetermined urgent number.
Yes, exactly that.
If-then sounds smart, but isn't that just adding another layer of mental administration? I mean, how do we make sure that rule is actually followed in the heat of the moment?
It works because it shifts the decision-making process. You make the decision when you're rational and rested, not when your focus is under fire. The rule becomes automatic, like a mental shortcut.
So it prevents that tiny micro-decision of, should I check this now or later?
Which is enough to break your flow state. The plan just preserves your momentum.
Okay, we've established the individual habits, but none of this sticks if our tools and our teams are actively fighting against us.
Right.
Which brings us logically to leveraging systems and optimizing team efficiency.
We have to stop seeing tools as obligations and start seeing them as automation leverage. Identify every single repetitive, high-volume task you perform.
So things like summarizing meeting notes.
Exactly. Today, AI assistants can draft, summarize, transcribe, and analyze data incredibly fast. If you are manually moving data or writing first drafts of routine emails or summarizing long documents, you are wasting energy that AI can reclaim for you instantly.
And beyond the advanced AI, there are immediate, low-cost steps for digital declutter that can give you back minutes every day. I'm thinking about batching activities.
Yes. Grouping those similar tasks together. Don't check your emails intermittently. Check them in dedicated 30-minute batches, maybe 2 or 3 times a day.
Do all your invoicing at once.
Do all your invoicing and scheduling at one specific time. And on the email front, pursue inbox zero ruthlessly. Aggressive unsubscribes, using filters to auto-sort non-essential lists, and relying on templates or canned responses for routine replies.
And what's the simple security measure that cuts down on digital friction?
Adopt a password manager. It sounds small, I know. But cutting down on lockouts and password retrieval, it reduces both digital clutter and all the email traffic that goes with forgotten passwords. It's a low-cost, high-impact friction reducer.
Let's pivot to the biggest collective time sink, meetings. We have to stop accepting calls that don't earn their time on our calendar.
Agreed. The rule should be simple. Decline any invitation that arrives without a short agenda and a stated purpose.
What if the purpose is just an update?
Then you demand a crisp, asynchronous summary instead. Meetings must drive clear outcomes.
And when you do have to meet, the structure is critical. Limit sessions to 15 or 30 minutes to keep attention high. But what's the most vital step that so often gets forgotten?
You must always finish with clear next steps, named donors, and due dates.
Always.
A meeting without defined action items is just a social gathering, not a productivity driver. This ensures accountability and measurable progress. And this also applies to our communication schedule, using calendar booking tools to stop that agonizing back-and-forth scheduling friction.
This all rolls up to leadership, doesn't it? For the managers listening, how do you steer a team toward this outcome-focused culture without, micromanaging?
The key is delegating effectively, and that means delegating outcomes, not tasks.
What's the difference?
When you assign a project, you ask clarifying questions at the start to align on the scope, the resources available, and the criteria for success. Delegating outcomes requires more trust up front, I'll admit, but it dramatically reduces rework and constant check-ins because the team member owns the solution, not just the steps.
I appreciate that the source encourages leaders to be experimental. So what are the big forward-thinking trials that managers should be testing to embody this shift?
Piloting meeting-free blocks is a low-friction start, maybe one day a week dedicated solely to deep work. But the truly disruptive idea is considering a 4-day-a-week trial.
That's a huge commitment. If a company tries that, how do they measure success? It can't be by hours logged.
Absolutely not. You measure performance by business metrics that reflect value delivery. Cycle time, on-time delivery percentage, quality scores, and crucially, team satisfaction. If you find that condensing the workweek forces efficiency and clarity, and those metrics hold steady or even improve, then the trial is a success.
That brings us perfectly to the foundation of all of this, sustainable productivity. We can implement all the clever time blocks we want, but if the engine is running on empty, we're just going to break down.
Your daily energy is the single biggest lever in this entire framework. You have to treat your well-being not as a luxury, but as a core performance tool.
So sleep.
Prioritize sleep. It's essential for boosting memory, creativity, and executive function. You simply cannot be focused if you are fatigued.
And this means intentional action on movement and nutrition, too.
You have to build those micro recesses into your day. Short walks or light movement improves mood and concentration by increasing blood flow. And fuel your brain strategically with nutrient-rich food omega-3s, whole grains, to provide sustained energy and prevent those afternoon crashes.
It's also about actively managing psychological stress throughout the day, not just physical energy.
Schedule short recovery breaks, stretches, breathing minutes, 5-minute mindfulness sessions. These are critical for resetting your prefrontal cortex, which governs all your executive function.
And what's the big one for professionals today?
Create tech-free zones, especially the 30 to 60 minutes before bed. This simple ritual lowers anxiety and ensures better quality sleep, which makes it easier to lock into deep work the next morning.
So what does this all mean for you listening? We've covered a full spectrum here, from challenging perfectionism to leveraging 90-minute ultradian rhythm cycles.
You'll leave this deep dive with a clear pathway to work smarter. Prioritize measurable outcomes above all else. Simplify your planning with small, consistent systems, and aggressively protect the minutes you need for those meaningful, high-impact tasks.
For me, the key takeaway is the power of that if-then planning mechanism for preserving focus. But what stands out to you, the listener?
I'd say start small. Don't try to change your whole week tomorrow. Define just one next step that moves a critical task forward, schedule that task when your energy is best, and then stick to the focused execution plan. The key isn't sporadic marathons of work. It's consistent small systems and rhythms that deliver reliable, high-quality results.
That is powerful and very practical advice to finish on. Thank you for tuning into the SmartKeys podcast. We hope this deep dive into working smarter helps you reclaim your focus and drive those meaningful outcomes. If you found this discussion valuable, please hit subscribe and share this deep dive with any colleagues interested in maximizing their efficiency. To read the full article by Felix Römer, Work Smarter, focus on results, not just hours to improve productivity, and access related resources on SaaS tools and productivity hacks, find the link in the show notes below.